Okay, so last Monday when we had that fucking snowstorm, we got like 4 feet of snow, and I'm not even kidding you. The highways were shut down. There was like TTC, like our buses, our transport trucks. Everybody was stuck just all over the city. There was no plows. For some reason, just plows weren't working until like halfway through the day. And then obviously it's fucking, by that time, it's just a shit storm. I tried to get to the gym. So after we did the podcast last Monday, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go hit the gym. I got halfway there. It took me an hour and a half to get halfway there. I got stuck. So the highway was like just blocked. I couldn't even get off because there was so much snow that the off ramps, you couldn't get off. So I found one, I got off. There was 3 transport trucks stuck there. So I go, and then there's a car that's like trying to like go around them, like driving through the snow, fucking Honda Civic. Yeah, right. So I'm stuck behind this guy, and I have to back out all the way off back, like backing out off the off ramp back onto the highway. By that point, there's like 3 cars behind me. So I'm getting out of my car. I'm like, you guys got to go back. We got to go back. Some guy's like calling a plow, like, I got a buddy. So we're waiting there like 15 minutes. The plow comes, finally takes us out. It's been like 2 hours by that point. It took us another hour and a half to get back home.
Oh my gosh.
Sounds like an average day in Newfoundland.
I was also sipping my pre-workout on the way there too. So by the time I got home, I was just like, oh, and my condo gym, which is what I would have done for a backup, closed. So no workout.
Well, dude, this is funny. So when I was in BC last weekend, like their gyms are closed. Mm-hmm. And then I got like put up in this like pretty nice hotel, this like Delta downtown. And I just went to check out the gym just to see if it was open, assuming it was closed. And the gym in the hotel was open.
Okay, lucky.
Yeah, I had like pretty nice gym in there too. I only used it for cardio, obviously, because I was still training at like the promoter's gym.
Yeah.
Which is also pretty dope. The Truth Gym Gallery.
Look cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
So that gym was on the island?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I never been to Vancouver Island, but
yeah, super nice, man. Yeah, they did a really good job, put off a good seminar, had a pretty good showing. They have like a show coming up in like 14 or 15 weeks. I think that was like the whole idea behind it.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, considering that their gyms were shut down, like COVID is pretty crazy there right now. Like it went pretty well, I thought.
Yeah. Vancouver, when I was there, was super extreme with just the Vancouver city itself. Everywhere else was like pretty relaxed, but in the city was like crazy, man. Like I didn't see anybody not wearing a mask outside. Everybody was masked. Yeah. And people were like getting mad at you if you weren't wearing a mask outside.
Really?
Wow. That was last year. It might be better now, but people are getting kind of.
Victoria was pretty chill. You could tell like most people were just kind of like fed up with it, just like they are everywhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the gyms open anyway. Like they opened on like some day they weren't supposed to. Like you saw like the whole like free BC thing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, on the way home, green light. What's that?
I was just talking. Me and Jason, and like the restrictions aren't like the same here. So with it being like so much more strict there, like, are you guys like he said, okay, people are getting mad, and you're like walking around outside, and they're getting mad that you're wearing masks. Like, are you guys like to that, or are you just like being like, nah, screw it, we're gonna do whatever we want?
I was standing in line at the grocery store the other day with my girlfriend, and we're just minding our business. And there's like spots on the ground where you're supposed to stand. So we're standing on those spots. So we're social distancing, but I'm not wearing a mask. And this guy turns around and he looks at me and he's like, you're a pretty strong guy to not have to wear a mask. I'm like, well, I have an exemption. He's like, oh, sorry. No, he's like, where's your mask? And I was like, oh, I have an exemption. He's like, oh, you're a pretty strong guy to have an exemption. What's your problem? I'm like, oh, it's medical. Like, don't worry about it. And he's like getting mad at me. He's like, oh, don't worry about it, eh? And then we're getting into this fight. I'm like, dude, listen, you're the one that's confronting me. Just turn around and mind your own business. And he's like, oh, turn around, mind your own business. I'm like, oh my God, man. Like, really? And my girlfriend started jumping in too. She's like, buddy, shut up.
Yeah. Nobody really, I mean, at least where I go, nobody gets into it here anymore. Like nobody really cares.
It's just not relevant where you're at, you know?
Yeah.
Like people are just over it. It's not rules, but like that's the deal here now. Like especially where I live, like there's no point in us having any mandates. Like, it's just not severe at all.
If you go to the doctor's office, you still got to wear it or whatever, but that's about it.
Oh yeah. I guess that makes sense. I mean, you're going to be around sick people. Like, yeah, but no, we still have to wear it everywhere, you know, but yeah, I don't know. It seems like it's kind of dissipating. Like, because a lot of people like literally like that's what happened with the gyms in BC. Like, they weren't allowed to open, but all the gyms were just like, fucking, we're opening, and they did. And the government was just like, okay. So it's like, that's all you need is like to get that ball rolling. And then restaurants will start to do the same thing. And it's because it's like, that's all it is. Like the people have the power here, really.
If everyone's going to do it, they're not going to, they're going to have to roll with it.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's what I always say, that the government forgets who they work for, right?
That's the problem with the masking and stuff. It's because there's people like that are actually like attacking people who don't wear masks when they don't really do anything anyway. So like the way that I see it is, if you're that scared and you have that much of an issue, like maybe you have like some problems with your health, it's on you, really. I mean, you can't expect everybody in the entire world to cater just to you. You know, you have to be responsible for your own health. And if you're going to be putting yourself in a situation that is going to put you at risk, that's your own fault, because you can literally order groceries to your goddamn house. So what are you doing out here getting mad at people for being here too? It makes no sense. That's what
it all comes down to a personal decision. But the gym is the funniest, because like in the gyms here, like, well, not every gym follows it, but like Good Life does, right? Of course, that's like our corporate gym. But yeah, like you literally have to, like, you can take your mask off while you're working out, and then, but like if I want to go from like a bench to like a machine, I have to like put my mask on and like walk to the machine, and then I can take my mask off again. And like in my head, I'm like touching all this stuff, and I'm just like putting my hands up to my face like repeatedly, which I would like never really do like normally at the gym. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like getting a drink or something, but like I'm excessively doing it, put my mask on and off. I'm like, this is just like whoever came up with this is just like come on. like seriously. Right? But you didn't think it through at all. Yeah. So we got some questions for this week, or?
We got a ton of questions. You want to get to them already? Jeez.
I think we should jump into it, because we always wait till like the very end and we get like 2 questions.
All right.
That's true.
Okay,
Yeah.
Who's got the most questions? I only got like 3.
I got like 2, but I forgot one of them because I forgot to screenshot it.
Okay, well, the first one I got was, how often do you masturbate? So you guys go ahead. Well, your girlfriend's there now, so probably none, right?
Yeah, it's cut down drastically in like a very short period of time. Yeah. But still, I don't know, 5 or 6 times a week.
Yeah.
I
live with my girlfriend, so yeah, I'm about the same.
I mean, I've got my wife, but you know, it's
you still need private time.
Yeah, I mean, she's at work all day, and sometimes, you know, you increase the tests and you just get those random midday boners. You know, it happens.
Yeah, man.
That's true.
And no one does a good job as you, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
All I'm trying to say is, like, you know, you got to keep the forearm strong. So, you know,
Whatever it takes.
The only forearm workout I get. Come on.
switch arms, switch hands, and then
You guys do the switch, or do you do the double? You know, like both at once, bilateral or unilateral? Which way do you go?
Well, my right hand's usually on the mouse.
Yeah.
Oh, so are you a computer guy? What are you guys phone
I'm
guy?
not a phone guy.
Phone guy? No.
I'm back and forth, honestly. Depends on where I am in my house.
True.
Yeah. But no, I'm a one-handed guy, man. My left hand is absolutely useless to me. I don't even know why I have it. Just to lift weights, I guess.
I guess so, yeah. Are you left-handed though?
Me?
Robin, you're talking about 2 hands. You must have a huge dick, because I don't know who's putting 2 hands that are your gorilla size.
Or really small hands.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Apparently my hands aren't that big, so
They look like fucking like catcher mitts.
Okay.
You have girthy hands.
they're
If I got
girthy, yeah.
when Deadpool's trying to regrow his hand,
I'm girthy everywhere. That's
like it's gonna feel huge in this little hand.
Robin's just pure girth.
it's not so much the length, it's more the girth that I have to deal with. Right?
Apparently girls
Like grabbing a tree
girth
trunk.
is a little bit more than length.
They like the girth more than length.
That's what I hear like on a consistent basis. Like obviously you need some length, but like you know, like long and skinny is like not necessarily as good as like a little shorter but a bit wider. You know
I can see that. Yeah. You gotta take up space, you know, you want to take up more space.
Yeah, but you can't be pushing a tuna can.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Exactly. That's not good for anybody. I got a question on steroids. It's like, it's kind of something like we haven't really touched on.
Okay.
Okay. I think the question was like, what do you think of oral cycles? Are they beneficial or are they a waste of time? Or are they just bad for your health?
Like oral only?
Yeah, orals only for like a period of time, like 6 to 8 weeks, orals only. Like, is that beneficial or is that like
no test?
Yeah, just orals. They don't want to. This person doesn't want to inject.
Only way I could see is if you had like if you're one of those TRT patients that has like the what is it like? It's like it's almost like a lotion that they rub in for tests or something.
Oh yeah.
It's like the only way I could see your orals. Like, and it would have to be something like obviously if you're running that low for your TRT. Then it'd be something extremely minor, like Anavar, or like, you know, Proviron or something, or maybe you're running like other stuff like Clen or something. You're just trying to like lose weight, but that would be like, I don't see how you would want to run anything that would be a drastic change in your hormones with like no test.
Well, I was gonna say it depends on if we're talking about females or males.
Yeah.
Well, this was a guy that was asking.
What do you think, Jason?
I think you could probably get away with, you know, something like, you know, Anavar or something light like that for a period of time. But it's still gonna shut you down a little bit if you're not taking some kind of test. So, I mean, I don't know. I think it's smarter to have some kind of test base in there. But I will say, like, I mean, you know, if you're running a lot of tests, you are going to hold a little more water too. If you want that crazy dry look and just ran just Anavar or Winstrol or something like that by itself, you're probably going to have a crazy dry look.
That's true. I mean, we're talking about like a male who wants to do like a first cycle and they're scared of injecting. I would seriously consider that route. Maybe don't go that route at all. Maybe just stick to staying natural, or maybe just if you want to stay on the gray line, just use SARMs, because I don't think you're going to get a massive benefit from an oral only cycle. And especially for a man, you're probably not going to have the greatest time with it either. Like Jason was saying, you know, if you get shut down and all you have is like 40 milligrams of Anavar holding you over, I don't know how great you're going to feel. From my own experience, the first cycle I did, I got advice from a well-known coach at the time. He passed away, but he was one of the best trainers in Canada at the time. So I took his advice very seriously. And he said to do just DECA only, 500 milligrams a week. And that's what I did. And I'll tell you right now that I probably wouldn't do that again. Well, I definitely wouldn't do that again, but I also wouldn't advise that for anybody. I would say, go with the test only, man. Just your first cycle should just be test. And then once you get a little bit more into like more comfortable with that, then you can add the orals. But you gotta start with the base. You gotta use that test, man.
And if you're afraid of just taking a shot, like, dude, I never took a shot until I was prescribed by the doctor 200 tests sip a week.
What you can do too is if you're that scared is you can actually just use an insulin syringe.
Well, dude, I literally sat there. The doctor showed me how to do it. Like, I had never done it before or anything like that. I still sat there in the bathroom for 30 minutes. Like, no, I can't do it. No, you got this. Quit being a pussy. I can't do it. And then finally I'm just like, I'm like, oh, I didn't even feel that shit. I'm like, oh, I'm a complete pussy. You know, like you just got to get, and then once you do it, it's like, it's nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think any of us really enjoys that process, but the bang for your buck and like what you're getting out of that cycle is going to be so much better than fucking around with orals.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not a big orals guy at all. Like, I get a lot of guys that, like, you know, I'm helping with protocols and stuff, obviously, and especially in like off-season phases, like muscle gaining phases. They're like, oh, like, can we throw an oral in? And I'm just like, why do you want to do that? Like, and I just try to explain to them, I'm like, the only time I ever use them is for prep. And I'm like, because orals are essentially like a temporary result, right? You're only going to benefit from them for as long as you're on them. So like doing that for a show makes sense because like you're trying to peak, right? But for an off season, like, okay, you're going to start a cycle with like Anadrol or D-ball or something, like, okay, you're going to gain weight really fast, get strong really fast, but then you're going to come off the Anadrol eventually, and your body's going to regulate to the hormones that you're still taking, which are going to be your long ester injectables, things like that. And that's what's going to give you the benefit over the long term of your cycle, right? So I think orals a lot of times is just like, and especially in off season, right? Like when you're gaining weight and things like that, like you're probably just compromising your blood work more than anything, in my opinion.
Yeah, not even to mention all the freaking toxicity and all the orals.
Well, exactly. So it's like
the blood work's going to come back so much worse. Your appetite's probably going to suffer because you're so toxic, you know?
Yeah.
So
it's like, how much shit do you need to grow? Like you're taking 2 or 3 different compounds, you know, like you don't need fucking a fourth one to gain muscle. If you do, your training and eating is fucked.
Yeah. The one thing I'd say sometimes in the off season, if you're starting to hit a lot of plateaus, your strength isn't gaining or anything like that. Obviously, first thing you should do is look at, you know, your recovery, your training, your nutrition to make sure you're recovering right. But if all's well and you just hit that plateau and you really want to get pushed past that, then you could go a couple weeks maybe just adding some kind of light oral pre-workout. Not every day, not on your off days, but like just pre-workout to kind of boost that, like, you know, little bit of like aggression and strength in the gym just to get past that plateau. But I think still do something very light.
Yeah. I think I'm more for like at the end of an off-season cycle, if you're going to do it at all, just like you said, like wait until you plateau, like, you know, week 14 or 15 of your cycle.
Yeah.
Throw in some Anadrol pre-workout for 2 or 3 weeks. See if you can add like another pound, maybe 2 pounds of tissue right before your cycle ends. And then it seems like it has a bit more purpose, like, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, I would never start with it.
No,
yeah, I like for that. I like to use Proviron because I like the fact that it obviously helps with estrogen conversion, but it also like it's super mild, but it allows your body to like intake more tests. So like it opens up your free tests. So when you're utilizing your tests in like off season, you're getting more out of it instead of your body like breaking it down and getting less from, you know, if you're taking 250, you might not be you're not obviously getting that full 250. Well, Proviron will help with actually utilizing more of that and giving you what you're wanting out of it.
That's true.
And you're not going to get much toxicity from Proviron or anything like that too.
No.
Only one, something that you could always keep in.
You could do the same things theoretically with SARMs too, like certain SARMs.
Yeah.
To potentially help with like if you're taking like let's say you're taking 250 of testosterone a week and you add in maybe some ostarine, maybe you can potentiate that testosterone a little bit more by modulating those receptors, as that's what the SARM would do. Right. So I think, you know, there's definitely like, it's not to say that there's never going to be a benefit for orals, but definitely I would not ever start a cycle with orals only. And I would also, like what Morgan was saying, is I would be cautious of using them heavily in the off season. For myself, I tend to just not take any in the off season, but pre-contest, yeah, there's definitely some good benefits.
Even pre-contest,
like the Winnie and stuff.
Even pre-contest though, like Chris Aceto is not going to add them in right when we start prep. You know, it's like he's going to wait until we've been dieting for probably, you know, 8 weeks or so before.
That's a good point too. Like most of the time you're not using orals for longer than like 6 weeks anyways. So what are you are you really going to do a 6-week cycle of orals and grow that much? Like maybe you put on a little bit of weight and then you just lose it again. Like it doesn't really make a lot of sense. And especially like the worst thing is when people are, and I get this question too, Morgan, because people are like, hey, I'm scared of needles. I'm like, dude, then just don't do it. You know, don't do it.
Well, that's what I mean. And even if you are like, this is the way you look at it too, right? It's like, say if you are scared of needles, right? Like if you really want to be a bodybuilder, like you're going to get over that shit. You know what I mean? So to me, like if someone overcomes that fear, then they're going to put everything into training and dieting as well. Right. But if you want to be a bodybuilder and you're too afraid to pin, then like how hard are you going to train? Like, you know what I mean? Like how serious are you going to stick to your diet when like events come up that could easily persuade you to go off of it? You know what I mean? Yeah. So exactly. Like just reiterating what you said, like if you're afraid of needles, then stay away from it. You know what I mean?
When you're talking about like open bodybuilding and stuff, like it's part of the sport. So if that's the route you want to go, you kind of have to go all the way or don't, like just stay natural in that case, in my opinion.
Yep.
Let's did you guys get any other questions?
I didn't get any.
Okay. Well, I think we talked about this before. I can't remember, but Waffles or pancakes?
Pancakes.
Waffles.
Pancakes.
It's a hard one because I like French toast.
He's like,
I'd probably go waffle.
Dude, I had the best breakfast in Victoria, BC last weekend. It was like these homemade waffles. Then it had this barbecue beef brisket on top. It was like smoked for like 24 hours or some shit with some like barbecue sauce. 2 eggs on top of that. And then like you just pour syrup all over it. Damn, man. So good. That literally made me from a pancake guy to a waffle guy in 1 week.
Yeah. It's when I had chicken and waffles for the first time, that was what got me into waffles, like more so. Before that, I kind of like those Belgian waffles you get at the Mandarin. You know those ones? Those ones are good. But when you get chicken and waffles, man, it just
there's something about like something savory and then waffles with syrup on them.
Yeah.
They're so hit or miss for me though. Like chicken and waffles, like I've had a couple really good like places of chicken and waffles, and then a bunch of like really disappointing ones.
I feel like it's one of those that's like a very American thing that has only like recently kind of came into like Canada in popularity.
If it's done right, it's amazing.
There's a restaurant.
I haven't had the chicken and waffles. I've only had the brisket and waffles.
You got to try the chicken and waffles, but like Jason was saying, there's probably a lot of ones that are shit. And in Canada, it's kind of it's less common to find chicken and waffle places. There's one restaurant called the Pickle Barrel, which most of them have closed down. I don't know if you guys have the Pickle Barrel in the States, but
never heard.
We have it up here, and it's honestly not a good restaurant, but they do have a great chicken and waffles. And the waffle has like jalapeno peppers in it a little bit, and then they give you like a hot sauce syrup that goes on it. It's just fucking good.
Well, currently my off-season meals, chicken and rice even. I put sugar-free pancake syrup on it, which is like similar to like chicken and waffles, but the rice is like waffles for me. And then I put it's that sweet savory. I love that right now. It's like what I'm
I was doing.
That sounds
it's
disgusting.
funny you said that. I haven't done that in a long time, but there was one. I think it was 2019 prep where I was mixing Frank's Red Hot and sugar-free syrup on all my chicken and rice meals.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
It was so good though.
That's one of the
I was
weirdest
stuck on that.
That's the kind of shit that only happens when you're deep on prep.
Yeah. I've been prepping for way too long.
That's like that's when your taste buds are just like not even making sense.
I did it on accident once. All right. So I used the wrong hot sauce and it was way too spicy. I'm like, I gotta find a way to like mellow this out. So I put some sugar-free syrup on there. I'm like, oh shit. I think I found something. I was like, still a little too spicy. So I switched to the, a little more mild hot sauce, but then like that like sweet and spicy, sweet and savory, like it just hit. Dude.
I can see it working because that's what they do with the chicken and waffles.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like, it's not a normal syrup usually in the chicken and waffles. It's got a little bit of a kick to it.
Mm-hmm.
You guys rather Frank's Red Hot or Sriracha?
Frank's.
Ooh. I think I would go with Frank's most of the time, but sometimes Sriracha is a nice mix up.
I'm not like a Sriracha person.
Sriracha's a little twangier. I like Sriracha better.
Sriracha's more heat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like it's almost got like a sweet heat to it.
Yeah, and Frank's is more like salty.
Yeah, exactly.
Frank's is like it's got that sourness, like the vinegar hits.
Yeah.
But the Sriracha's got a bit more heat with a little bit of sweet. Yeah.
The deeper you get into prep, you start like putting way, way more sodium and salt, like saltier stuff on your foods.
I always do the exact same amount.
I was putting cinnamon on my chicken and rice.
I start craving salty whenever I get deeper into prep, and I just like I go overboard sometimes. But then like Aceto doesn't care until like 2 weeks out. He'll be like, how much salt have you been using on your foods? I'm like, a lot, everything, like tons of salt on it. And he's like, okay, keep it the same for now. And then he'll like just each day see how my body's changing. He's like, all right, take salt out of this meal and this meal, or like cut salt in half on these 2 meals or something, like, and then as we go, he'll just kind of adjust it as we go for the last week or so. Oh shit.
The cinnamon on the rice is actually good.
It is good, yeah.
Just cinnamon and salt, right? That's pretty much all you need sometimes.
Yeah, cinnamon, pink Himalayan salt, great combo.
Yeah, it is a good combo. My girlfriend thought I was fucking crazy because the last couple of weeks I was like making these weird concoctions. I was doing like, for my last meal, I'd make shrimp and cream of rice, and then I'd put like hot sauce and like pepper and like garlic powder and I'd make it like into like some kind of like, I thought it was like a gumbo, like a shrimp gumbo with like cream of rice, and it's kind of like soupy. She's like, that looks fucking disgusting. And I'm just like, no, it's really good. And then she'd bring it up. She'd be like, remember when you're making that disgusting soup? I'm like, I'm probably going to do it again.
Okay, so I got another question for you guys. So I have all the questions this week. So when you guys are eating like most of your meals, and does it differentiate in contest and prep, but do you eat your meals like is the food separate from each other, or do you just mash it?
We talked about this last week.
Oh, did you really?
And we were going to ask you.
Oh shit, that's fucking weird.
So Jason was saying that he mixes everything.
I think it's weird. I don't know why, but I find it really weird to eat rice by itself. Just rice as a side by itself. Like if I have to like mix in my protein or something with it.
And Jordan, you do that too, right?
Yeah, it depends. Like with rice, then I definitely like put them together. But like if I have a meal, like I've had meals where it's like, okay, you need to eat this amount of chicken, but you also need to eat this amount of cream of rice. I will put it with my cream of rice.
Okay.
Like that's.
Can you use this?
I have.
I've never tried it, but I've seen it.
Oh my God, it's so good. So like this is literally the reason why most of the time I eat my rice separate from my protein, just because I like putting this soy sauce in my rice so much.
I'll mix my chicken in with the rice and put that on it anyways with it.
Oh really?
Yeah. I got really confused.
So what do you put on your chicken though?
I was so convinced.
Nothing. Like that'll be my sauce for my chicken. I'll cook my chicken up. I'll chop it up with my scissors and put it in the rice and put that on it.
Yeah, I've done that before too. Most of the time, I'll do that if I'm taking a meal with me somewhere. Like if I'm eating at home, I'll like cook my chicken up in some like sweet and spicy mustard or something, and then put that on the rice and keep it.
That's
separate.
why I got confused, because we had this conversation last week, and I'm like, usually when I set up my plate, I have the rice and then I have the veggies and then I have the meat, and it's it just looks nice. And then when I'm on the go, obviously it's all in the same container, so it gets mixed together. So I'm like, wait, so because last time I was pretty sure that I would always just have them separately, but then as I was eating, it started mixing all together. I'm like, oh, I guess I do mix it all together. I started out like that, all separate, but as I'm eating it, all gets mixed together. So
that's why I see people that take their pictures of their food or whatever and put on their story, like, or on YouTube or whatever, and they're showing their diet. I'm like, man, all their food looks so like put together by a chef, like separate on the plate and stuff like. And if I take a picture of mine, it's just like everything looks like a stew. Like everything is just.
That's why when I take the picture, I make sure it looks presentable. But then afterwards, I fuck it all up and then I eat it like that. So
if Jason posts 6 meals, they all look the same.
Yeah, it's like they're all different macros, different protein. They all look the same. It's like, especially on prep, because I'll take my greens, I'll throw them in the pan, I'll throw my protein in the pan with my greens, and then I'll put the rice on top, and then I'll put a lid on it. I'll put a little bit of water in there, whatever sauce, like soy sauce or whatever I'm putting in it, and I'll put the lid on it and just let it kind of all stew in there. Together, and then I dump it on in like a big bowl or something, and it just looks like a big stew.
I got another question. Do you guys like, if you have to eat a meal, but it's like you just have your Tupperware and it's cold, will you eat it, or will you wait until you can heat it up?
Oh man, let me tell my story.
It depends on where I'm at in prep.
So literally, just like when I was flying back to Newfoundland from BC last weekend, I packed up a couple chicken and rice meals with me, like you would, right? And didn't realize it, but like the fridge of like the hotel I was staying at, because I had to overnight in Montreal because of that storm in Toronto, like my first flight got home. So the next morning I put my chicken and rice meals in there, and I guess the fridge was just really cold. So I took them out in the morning and like packed up my stuff, like went through security, did all that stuff, like got on the plane and went to take out a meal. And I was starving. I only had one, and it was like kind of thawed, but like pretty much frozen solid. So I couldn't eat the rice. So I literally was like taking the frozen chicken, putting it in my mouth, letting it thaw out in my mouth, and then chewing it, eating it.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That is gross.
I had to do it. I had to do it for the gains.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like if I'm on prep and it's time to eat my next meal, I'll eat it cold. It doesn't matter. It is what it is.
Really?
You know, I don't really care.
In the off season, I would do that, but if it's pre-contest, I really want to wait until I can like enjoy it.
You can enjoy it.
I would rather like wait and suffer for a bit than have a shitty meal on prep.
See, the funny thing is, if I'm on prep, like say I'm at an expo like the Europa or the Arnold, or or just at traveling somewhere, wherever, like I lose weight every time. For one, I'm not putting all the sugar-free condiments on my food because I'm traveling, and it's just I'm not going to carry that crap with me. So the food's probably cleaner because I'm not putting junk on it, any like artificial sweeteners and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'll just eat it wherever I am, whenever I need to eat the meal. So like, I think I'm more strict when I'm traveling, and I don't care as much because I kind of want to just enjoy what I'm doing. So I'll just wolf the meal down whenever I need to. That's and true. Get on with what I'm doing.
I'm the same way when I travel, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like all my meals this last weekend were so clean just because I was just trying to get them over with most of the time. Just so I could.
Yeah. You want to enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy that wherever you're at, or, the event you're doing, whatever you're doing, like you just want to enjoy it. So it's like, I feel like I just I'm not so food focused whenever I'm traveling or doing something.
Well, and the promoters, like for the seminar or whatever, like they hooked me up with all my food, and they gave me 2 condiments. They gave me sugar-free ketchup and sriracha with all I had. So I literally like hate both of those now because I had it on like 12 meals in like 2 days.
Yeah, you got to have those sauces on rotation.
Yeah. For me, it's a hit or miss. I just like, well, I know that I can get to a microwave or wherever I need to be able to heat my food, like within, it'll be another 15 minutes or something. No big deal. But if I don't know, like I don't have any like set idea that I could get to another microwave and don't know when that'll happen, then I'll just eat it like room temperature or cold or whatever. I've done that plenty of times. So it all just depends. If I know something's available, then I'll wait. If not, then get the gains.
Yeah. Also in the off season, like I'm a little more lenient on like swapping things out too. So it's like when I'm in prep, I eat whatever Chris Cito tells me to eat. But like in the off season, okay, well, if I know I'm traveling and I'm probably going to have to eat something cold, I'd rather eat cold sweet potato than cold rice.
Yeah.
So sure. I'm going to swap out my carb source because like anyone can eat cold chicken, cold steak. I'm not going to do ground meat when I'm traveling because that's disgusting eating cold ground beef. I hate it. But I'll eat cold steak easy. So I'll pick and choose. Like if I know it's going to be a toss up whether or not I can heat my meals up, I'll like pick things that I know I'm okay eating them cold.
Yeah, that's a good point. I would do cold chicken, cold fish. I do not like eating cold beef though.
No. Yeah, I can't do the cold beef at all. I can't do cold steak either.
I can do cold steak easy, but cold fish. Ugh.
It's fine because fish isn't that great anyways. So you just like throw some mustard.
It's even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot right now.
If the beef is not warm, it's usually like chewier. Like you chew on it forever.
Oh, yeah, man. That's the thing. I hate chewing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I pretty much I took beef out of my diet pretty recently, actually.
Really?
I just added it back in.
Did you? Yeah, I took it out for a cod.
Yeah. Oh, that's a big change.
Yeah, just for digestion's sake. And like we're at the off season, like I'm getting my fats in anyway because I'm having like a couple cookies every day, kind of thing. So
that's my problem right now. Is I have red meat like 4 times a day, and I'm like, I don't want to eat it again.
What the fuck, man? How do you do that,
dude? I don't know. Well,
it's
luckily,
crazy that you digest that.
I got 200 pounds of beef, and it was like $4 a pound. So I have like a ridiculous amount of beef. And most of it's ground, and I find that the ground for the most part it digests pretty well. But when I do like a steak meal, that shit just sits there for a while. So I'm trying to like swap things out too. Like salmon, it would be obviously better than like, for me, it's like if I'm gonna do beef and then beef and then beef, it's like, dude, that is just getting rough. But if I can go beef and salmon then beef, it's not as bad, right?
Salmon digests super easy for me.
Yeah,
So,
it's expensive.
Yeah, I would prefer switching that up. I did do 2 beef meals yesterday, actually. I forgot about that. But
I just cooked like 6 pounds of salmon this morning.
Is salmon cheaper out east? No?
I just got, one of my buddies just gave me 26 pounds for free though.
Oh,
damn.
sweet.
Like wild caught Atlantic. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's the thing, like out here, like with like the fisheries and stuff like that, like I do get a lot of like seafood hookups. Like I've gotten like bags of shrimp for free, like boxes of cod for free, and I'm getting like salmon for free. So
That's awesome.
yeah, no, it's good. It saves a lot of money and it's good quality stuff. So
I'm gonna be like,
Go ahead.
What's-
Jordan.
he's like sponsored by like a chicken company or chicken farm or something.
that would
That's
be
the
sick.
dream.
I have a meal prep sponsor, which is really convenient.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they do my chicken and stuff for me. Like I still basically with them, like I don't get it for free, but I get it for cost, and they just do all the preparation for me.
That still makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Oh, bro. I've been with them for like 4 or 5 years now. Like I can't imagine life without them.
That's what slows you down. Like when you're trying to be productive in a day is like prepping each meal. Cause you work, like, let's say you're trying to work at home and like do client plans. You can work for 2 hours, then you have to take a break because you have to go get your food and you have to eat it. It's like, fuck, that shit takes time. So that must be awesome. You can be way more efficient, right?
Yeah, it's definitely helped me, especially with like just running my business and stuff like that. Saves like you said, man, you're gonna save like 3, 4, maybe even more than that hours a week.
Yeah.
Right. When that adds up, it's like far as like work time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What else we got? One of my clients had a question. He says, considering nowadays there are so many coaches out there, what do you guys look for in a coach? Academic qualifications, experience in the field, or both, or something else? Basically, what do you look for in a coach, or what makes a good coach?
I would just say for me, it's just experience and like just compatibility. More so, like that. Like you need to know what you want out of a coach. You know what I mean? And no matter how like you might have some coach or someone built up in your head, they might end up not being what you're actually looking for. So I think you kind of need to figure out exactly what you want. Like how much communication do you need? Like do you need daily communication or like weekly? Like what are you expecting to get out of it? Because I think a lot of people will expect to like really be coached closely by someone, and then they'll hire like, a pretty high name coach who like literally only has time to like send like 1 or 2 emails to each athlete per week. That's just how he does things. And then people get disappointed because they think the coach doesn't care about them. When in reality, that coach is just probably coaching really high level people and probably has a pretty big like clientele. Right. So
that's exactly what I was thinking. It's like, if you're the type of person that needs to be babied, kind of needs somebody to like check in on you and like talk to you throughout the week and stuff like that, I wouldn't be shooting for one of the biggest name coaches out there because they're going to be too busy to do that. And they're going to expect you to kind of be able to do what you're told and like just get work done. Like I work with Aceto and I check in with him almost daily when we're on prep, but 90% of the time his response is look good, picks tomorrow. And that's it. It's like I send my check-ins, he'll say look good, picks tomorrow. And, I send check-ins the next day and he'll say nice, picks tomorrow. And then like 3-4 days later, he's like, okay, switch diet to this, picks tomorrow. And so it's like, I'm not going to sit there and like be bummed out he's not spending more time talking to me, but that's what to be expected. And that's honestly what I like. Get to the point.
It's like, what are you hiring him for? Like, you're a professional. Like, he's a high level coach. So you're hiring him to do a job. And like, I'm sure you guys are friends. And like on the outside, if you saw him, you would talk like to him all day. Yeah. But and every week, like it's like he's doing what he's supposed to be doing for you, which is making sure you're in shape for the show.
Exactly. Like, and I think that's even like I have a client down here, Cameron, that you've met him, Robin, and I know Jordan knows him. But like when he sends me check-ins when we're on prep, I'm kind of the same way as Aceto. Like I'll be short to the point, give him his diet, and half the time he doesn't even respond. He knows what he has to do. When I send him, he doesn't say, okay, thanks, I got it. He knows that's the new plan. That's what I got to do. But then I see him in the gym and we're friends. We train together. We're friends. We'll talk, text each other, but that's separate from the coaching.
Yeah.
The coaching is direct to the point. Let's get this done. Let's help you be the best you can be,
Yep. The way that I see it is, as a coach, you're the GPS, right? So the client needs to know exactly where they want to go in order for the coach to provide the coordinates or the directions to get there. Now, when you're getting directions from a GPS, you don't argue with the GPS, you just follow the directions and you get there. But if there's problems, like, hey, there's a traffic jam, that's when you have to consult with your GPS. Well, let's just say coach, right? So if there's a problem, you're going to talk to your coach about that problem. Coach is going to give you an answer. You're going to find a solution. When you're just talking about check-ins, here's the plan, and the client just, okay, coach, let's get it done. There doesn't need to be more of a discussion than that, unless, of course, there's something that's not clear in the program, or it's something that's new that client isn't familiar with and they have questions. Of course, it's good to have that back and forth. But usually, as a coach, when you're giving long responses, it's because there's a big problem and you either have to crack the whip or you have to like really just, okay, here, listen, this is what I'm seeing as a coach. It's kind of gotten to a point where I have to now bring this to your attention as the client. So I think, yeah, number one, like you guys said, compatibility is probably the biggest determinant of your success in that relationship of coach and client. The other thing is, because it's the GPS, that coach has to have the idea, or at least have the experience of getting to that place that you want to go, right? You wouldn't hire a regional level coach to be an IFBB pro. Just wouldn't make sense, right? So I think that coach has to line up with where you see yourself. You have to also have a lot of respect for that coach, right? A coach can't be a best friend. In my opinion, a proper coaching relationship, it can't be a best friend relationship, right? Because there's going to be times in that relationship where you're going to have to dissociate yourself and just, get that shit done, right? So what do you think, Jordan?
I think, I was going to go back and say the part of something I look for in a coach too. I think obviously resume speaks loud. Like you said, you want to look for somebody, you can be scrolling through their Instagram and stuff. They work with a majority of bikini competitors, and I'm a bodybuilder, then that's probably a dead giveaway not to work with that coach. Mm-hmm. I would say like word of mouth and referrals. Like, people who I trust and people who I've known. Maybe you don't know the sport, you're not in the sport yet, it might be harder to find a coach. But if I was looking at working with like your coach, I'd be like, hey, Robin, how's that been going for you? Like, what's his style? Like, tell me a little bit about how you guys have been kind of doing. And like, if I felt like, oh yeah, that seems like it would mesh with me, then I would probably reach out and be like, hey man, Robin referred me to you. I wanted to talk to you about coaching. So that's something that, somebody that may not know everybody in the sport though, but they might get like one person that they could ask somebody and say, hey, what about this person? And then they get feedback and go from there. Mm-hmm. I have a really close relationship with my coach, with Justin. So, like you said, you can't have a best friend, coach, but I don't think that's true. I think it just depends on the type, like you said, the compatibility. I think that it's just like those fine lines. Obviously Jason and Cameron are the same way. They're really close as well. And like he trains with us and everything as well. So, like same thing with me and Justin. We have time where we're like, this is what we're going to do. And that's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm there to kill it. And we might have, 3 texts back and forth for a check-in. And then there's times where like we're chit-chatting and joking around and I'm texting him. And like I said, he'll keep the coaching side on the WhatsApp. And then like if he's thing, then it'll just be a text. And it might be something about, whatever. But we're sneakerheads, so it might be something about sneakers. It might be something about music or whatever.
I do the same thing.
Keep it separate.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I coach my best friend. I coach him as well. But when we do coaching stuff, it's through WhatsApp. If we're talking, it's through text. We can hang out, but we're not really like, there's a dissociation there. Like, I think that there has to be a line. And I think that's just, number one is just, for me, I want to keep things professional. And two, I want the clients to know that, like, for me, I take coaching seriously. Like, I really want to see my clients be successful. And if I'm a best friend, then it's like, there can be, oh, it's okay. It's, it's okay. As a coach, it's like, dude, that's not okay. Fucking get your shit together. Let's get back on track. So it's a different relationship. But It's not to say that you, like, you know, with Jordan and Justin, it's not to say that you can't have a coach as a friend. It's just that if that is the case, I think it's important to have some type of separation between the two, just to manage.
And also, don't hire a coach looking for a friend.
Right.
Yeah, don't hire a coach looking for a friend.
This whole question is based on someone looking for a coach. Right?
Yeah. Like, well, me and Cameron started working together, and then he moved down here to train with me, and we just became friends. You know, we're going to train together. We're going to be spending a lot of time together. We became good friends, but that's not why he hired me as a coach. You know, that just turned into that, and we still keep it separate, you know. Yeah. But as far as you were talking about training your best friend and like not wanting to, you know, kind of be too lenient on him, nah, I'm the other way. I want to make him suffer. Yeah. I'm like, if he's my friend and my client, I'm like, dude, I really want you to be your absolute best. So I'm going to do everything I can to make you, I mean, you know, I'm probably even harder on him.
That's fair. Yeah. For me, it's just, I want to kind of keep everybody in that, like, I want to, in my mind, I want to have that separation. It helps me like organize things better. Yeah. But that's why we're all coaches. We all have different ways of doing things. That's why we work with different people, right? It's like someone might like the way that I coach. Someone might like the way Morgan coaches or Jason coaches or Jordan coaches. And that's why it's really important to have that initial conversation with your coach. I think if you can talk to them face-to-face first before you work with them, that's ideal. Otherwise, I would try to get them on the phone. And then lastly, of course, you know, email and stuff. But you definitely want to make sure that you're a good match compatibility-wise. You want to make sure that you're kind of both on the same level, meaning, like I was saying, if I try to go pro, I'm not going to hire a local coach, a regional level coach that doesn't have any pro athletes. But also similarly, if I'm a regional level athlete trying to do my first show, am I going to hire Mr. Olympia's coach? It doesn't really make a lot of sense. I'm not there yet. So, yeah.
Yeah, and like there's a level of respect that needs to be maintained too, because, and just from a sense of accountability, right? Because I think a lot of people, like, especially when they do their first show, they want to cheap out and maybe just like hire their buddy or someone to help them do their first show. And it's like, maybe that person does know what they're doing, but like, because you're good friends with them, like, are you going to like do what they say? Like me and my coach are like friends, but before we were friends, he was my coach. And like, I really respected him. So, and I still do. And because of that, like, if he tells me to do something, I'm going to do it. You know, even if I don't agree with it, I'm at the very least going to try, because like I respect like the coaching relationship that we have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's very true. There's a level of respect that needs to be there, or the person's probably not going to follow exactly what you tell them to do.
Yeah, you're less likely to stay accountable to the plan then, right? So that's just something else to keep in mind if you're looking for a coach. Like, look, don't hire your buddy. Like, hire someone that's a professional that you respect, and it's going to work out better for you. You're gonna adhere to the plan better.
Well, I think.
Go ahead.
Like, the maturity, you know, like we could all probably work with a best friend as a coach because of where we're at in the sport and since we've been doing this for a while, versus like you're new to the sport. That's not what you need. You don't want a buddy like being like, oh, you look great, like, you know, giving you like false hopes and everything. For us, we were like, yeah, we could be a friend with somebody, but we know how to disassociate that because we're very serious about it anyways. And we know at the end of the day, like, even if we had a best friend coaching us, if something wasn't right, we'd be like, hey, man, I'm going to have to go find another coach. And like, that would just be the end of it. I mean, it wouldn't be any drama because it'd be like, it's understood in this sport, you have to always do what's best for you as an athlete.
I'll be honest, out of all of the coaches that I've worked with, there's very, very few that I've followed their plan exactly how they've given it to me, because I always thought I knew better. And whether that's true or not, how are you supposed to know, really? Because I didn't do exactly what they said. But there was a lot of times where I'm like, it just doesn't feel right, you know. And I kind of like put myself above them at that moment and just made my own decision to do what I wanted to do. Again, not saying that's right or wrong, because I won shows, I lost shows, right? So it's, you know, for me, what I was thinking is, if I'm gonna do this and I fuck it up, it's on me. If I listen to them and we fuck it up, it's on them. And I wanted it to be on me, and I didn't want it to be on them. So I'm not saying that's a good thing. If you listen, guys, if you hire a coach, please listen to what they say. At least give it a try and then have that discussion with them. A lot of the times, what happened with me is that we had a disagreement, and it was sometime in the middle of prep, something that I didn't want to do, and I just wasn't willing to do it, and then therefore I took it into my own hands. Still gave them the credit and everything though, right? It's like, you know, and I still respect them, but I think it's important that, and this is why I'm saying this, is now I listen to everything that my coach says and I do it all, even if I think that it's wrong in the moment, I'll do it and then tell them, hey, I did this and it's not working for me. Because before, if you don't do it, you can't tell them it's not working for you, right? So that's the mistake I made before as a less mature bodybuilder. And that's,
I would say don't be afraid to ask and be like, bring something up to a coach if you don't agree with it. Ask them and like bring it up to them and be like, hey, you know, you said to do this. I had second thoughts about it or whatever, and just discuss it with them a little bit. And
as a coach, nothing can be more insulting than say, hey, okay, we're going to do X, Y, Z. And your client says, well, this guy said X, Y, Z is not the right way. So why don't we do Z, Y, X? And you're like, okay, so you want to just coach yourself? Okay, cool. Let's just do that then, you know? So, you know, I learned from my own mistakes. And I think now it's why I'm more coachable than I was before. And that's, as a client, if you're not coachable, it doesn't matter who you work with. So,
well, I find, you know, like in this sport, like the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. Like as you go, like I'm sure like the better we get and the longer we're in it, and like the more open you become to like new concepts and stuff, right? And then every now and then you try something and it works for you, and you're like, man, like why didn't I try that before? And it's like, I was the same way. Like my first 2 or 3 years of bodybuilding, like you couldn't tell me shit, man. Yeah. Like I was training 6 days a week and doing 4 sets on every exercise, no matter what. You know, so that's just an example, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, like last thing, I think, yes, it's definitely important to have like those academic qualifications, but you don't necessarily have to have you don't need to have a degree to be a good coach. I just think that as the coach, you have to be willing to put in the work to stay up to date with research, at least to some degree.
You'll know if someone knows their shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. You guys want to do a different question?
Sure. What you got?
I don't know. You guys pick one.
I had one on sleep apnea. Someone asked if any of us have sleep apnea, and if we do, how do we deal with it?
Okay, I do. So, yeah, I've had sleep apnea probably since 2012, I think, but I didn't get it. I didn't have anybody look at it until 2017. So between 2012 and 2017, I basically would have fallen asleep anywhere I was sitting at any given time. Like in class, I fall asleep. Basically couldn't stay awake. And I wasn't even that big at the time. I think at 2012, my heaviest off-season weight was probably like 230 or 240 and competing around 200. So not even that big of a guy. So that's why I want to say that, is because some people think you have to be over 260. It's actually not true. But of course it got progressively worse. And then when I noticed that I was actually starting to choke in my sleep, that's when I was like, okay, I think I got to go and do a sleep test. And the reason why I put it off so long is because a sleep test is really not a very appealing thing to do at all, because you have to go somewhere that's not your house. You can't bring any food with you. You can't bring anything with you really at all. Because as soon as you get there, they strap you up to 1,000 electrodes all over your face and your head and your body. And you're basically just, okay, now you're going to go to bed and you're going to sleep basically in this room with all these monitors beeping at you. And then if you need to like go to the washroom, you have to buzz the nurse and he comes and brings you to the washroom, like that kind of stuff. So it's a really shitty sleep, and it's worth it in the end, because then you'll actually know for sure whether you're sleeping through the night, getting enough oxygen into your body, which is the main thing. And also like how much stress your heart's being put under while you actually sleep. So the next day after I got that sleep test, I got a call from the doctor. Okay, you have moderate to severe sleep apnea. Okay, so we're going to get you a CPAP right away. So I got that CPAP and I've been using it since 2017. and it actually works really, really well. But then the other thing that I had to add in as well, because CPAP machines, you can either do the full face, you can do the ones that just go in your nose. But if you have something in your nose, then obviously you can still breathe out your mouth. So if you're breathing out of your mouth and the air is going in your nose, it's actually not doing anything. So I also wear a mouthpiece that keeps my mouth closed, and then it's a whole thing. So it's not a lot of fun to have sleep apnea, but if you do have sleep apnea, you have to get it looked at immediately because it can be actually very life-threatening.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Fun. I went through a short like period of time after the 2020 Olympia, because the Olympia was into December, so like Christmas was the next week, and I just pigged out. We all have made the mistake, and we should have learned from it by now, and I still didn't learn from it, and I just pigged out like post Olympia, and I gained like, I don't know, over 40 pounds in like a week. And and it hit me. I'd never had sleep apnea before, and it hit me like I was at my my wife's parents' house, and I would just start falling asleep on the couch, and then I would same thing, like stop breathing, and just like choke up or whatever, like coughing up, and then just fall back asleep. And then it happened all night, and like her dad even said like he could hear me from the other room, and he's like, dude, you're worrying me. But then after a few weeks of getting back on my diet and like my cardio going, losing all that bloat and like all that water retention and everything like that, it slowly just went away.
Yeah.
So but I mean, I was only like 240, 245. It wasn't like I was, over 260, like you said. Like it was just insane amount of, it was probably a blood pressure thing too, because my blood pressure was probably horrible gaining that much weight so fast, and then just all the water retention, all that weight on top of me that my body wasn't used to. But it did go away at least. And now I'm even bigger. Now I am over 260, and I don't have it anymore. So
when I hit 300 pounds in 2019 when I was working with Dorian, and it got like really bad, and I went and got a sleep study done. But my sleep study was like a take-home thing.
Oh, really?
So this big machine. I had like hook it up to my chest, but it still had like all the tubes and stuff going everywhere. And I was having sleep apnea 86 times per hour, which is like really severe. And like when I gave back the sleep study, they're like, "Oh yeah, like we'll call you in a couple weeks, and like we'll let you know how it was." And they call me the next day.
They call you like as you're walking out. They're like, "Sir, don't go to sleep."
Yeah. They're like, "You need a CPAP like right away."
So have you been using one ever since?
Every day.
Yeah.
I have one and I cannot sleep with it.
It's like life-changing, man. Like so the craziest thing to me, because like I was to the point where like I was getting like no sleep, obviously having sleep apnea that much. And like if I sat down, like I would fall asleep, or like my body would try to fall asleep. Like it was like I couldn't even stay awake. It was like driving was getting sketchy kind of thing,
Yeah, it's scary.
And then like I remember the first like 3 days I used it, like the amount of energy and like how clear my mind was like insane to me. I felt like a new person, and I gained like 10 pounds in like 2 weeks, and like didn't change anything with my training or diet. I was just like finally like getting the recovery from being in like REM sleep. And best thing I ever did, man. And like I have like I broke my nose like 5 times playing sports. So like my nose, like I can barely breathe through it. So I had to wear like the full face one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, man.
I used the full face one for a couple of years, and the only reason why I actually switched from that one is because it was always rubbing my face here, and I would have like I guess because my skin is more sensitive, I would literally have like red lines here all day long. They wouldn't go away. I'm like, I can't have this red line like this all day, and it would just get worse and worse. So
actually, recently, like I never had an issue with that, but recently I started getting these like red marks like down here.
Yeah,
like where the bottom part was, and they went away. But for a while, they were like getting pretty bad. I was sort of getting concerned about it.
Yeah, I think it's like if that plastic is rubbing, or if there's like some dirt on your face or whatever, like
it can cause irritation.
Yeah, but I use the nose pillows now, and I find those just work better for me.
Yeah,
but that's why there's different types of masks, right? Fit different people's faces differently. But what were you gonna say, Jordan?
I have sleep apnea as well. So, yeah, I have a CPAP machine. I hardly ever use it. I need to use it. I'm stubborn because I sleep on my back. I'm trying to get better at using it. I got out of the military and started to realize that I couldn't sleep, and that was from there. I was falling asleep all the time, like you guys were talking about, and I swear I was like, dude, I think I have narcolepsy. Like I thought, like I would just fall anytime, like especially like it was like it would worry me. So I was like, doctor, I was like, I think I have narcolepsy. I think I need medication for this to keep me awake. And they're like, well, let's do a sleep study and see. And I did the same thing though. Went to a room, they set me up and I was all strapped up. That was crazy. But yeah, I got my stuff back and they said moderate to severe. And I got a CPAP machine, but I don't use it as much as I should. But now, well, Mo's saying like, oh, well, this helps with recovery. And I'm like, man, I could be maximizing gains. I should probably use mine more. Like it didn't connect with me.
Oh, bro, it was crazy for me. I started growing like a weed as soon as I started using mine. And I always imagine myself like Bane, you know what I mean? Like that's how I got myself to do it. I was like, I'm just this huge dude that like needs to be strapped up to tubes to go to sleep. Just getting massive like every
just day. Going to bed, you're like, yeah, I'm a fucking machine. That's right.
legit, man. Yeah. So yeah, it was all good for me. It just made me feel more hardcore.
Needs a CPAP commercial and like make everyone be like, oh man, CPAPs are so cool.
Yeah, right. The CPAP commercial is like some old fart. You're like, fuck that.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Like making a bodybuilder be like, check out this. I'm getting big tonight.
Yeah, CPAPs for recovery.
Man, and they have newer versions of the CPAP. They're called APAPs. Have you heard of those?
My dad just got one.
I want to get one of those because I've been using the same CPAP for like 5 years now. I think it's time for a new one.
What is it?
So the CPAP it's constant pressure, but the APAP is automatic pressure. So as you breathe out, the pressure stops, and as you breathe in, the pressure pushes in. Versus like, when you're trying to breathe out, you're breathing against air. It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
So
my CPAP has like a function that like when you breathe back, like you can turn it on and off, but like when I breathe back against my CPAP, the air shuts off.
Oh, so you do have one of the newer ones then?
It's not new, man. I got it in 2019.
Really? Oh, okay. Well, just a better version then. Yeah.
I guess it's just like a better CPAP.
They did come out with an improved version of the CPAP before they came out with the APAP.
Dude.
Yeah. Mine's like a really common one. It's called like a MetaRest or something like that.
Okay.
MetaRest. Yeah. It's really popular. Mine's for girls.
My dad got the APAP and gave me his CPAP.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I never got the sleep study done or anything. It's not actually calibrated to me.
It doesn't need to be, I don't think. I think you can just set it up.
I mess with mine all the time. It's really easy to adjust yourself anyway.
I change mine all the time because as I get heavier, I need to increase the pressure. And when I get lighter, so this is a weird thing. So fucking weird. I can barely explain it, but I have this duct in my eye that air can get through. So if I drop a lot of weight, like on prep, and the pressure stays the same,
it turns the pressure.
The air will go to my eye. It'll be like out of my eye, and I have to like. I'm not even kidding, dude. I've taped my eyes closed because I couldn't stand that. So it's so weird, man. It's like,
can you breathe out of your eye?
I can breathe into my eye apparently. Yeah, not well, but if there's enough pressure, like if I held my nose in my if I. Like there's air coming out of my eye right now doing that. So if the CPAP is not calibrated, right?
You're a freak, man.
It's weird. But dude, I remember like driving with when I had before I was using the CPAP, I'd be driving and I just like I knew I was like falling asleep, so I would do like the 3 second, like I'm just gonna take a 3 second nap. Okay, I'm good. A 3 second nap. Okay, I'm good. And sometimes I'd fall asleep and just wake up like at a traffic light, people honking at me. Super scary, man.
Holy shit, man! Yeah, I fell asleep at red lights before.
Yeah, it's actually really scary.
Someone honking, yeah, that's happened to me a few times when I was dealing with it pretty bad.
Yeah.
I would turn on like heat, like on full blast, and like most people would think like, oh, that would put you to sleep. But like for me, it would make me like start sweating. I would get real like hot because obviously you have more muscle, not easy, and like it would make me uncomfortable because like I can't sleep without like a fan on, the AC on, like all that. So like. For me, it's like if I cranked up the heat, then that would help me stay awake.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, crazy. But yeah, definitely sleep apnea is not a joke, man. I think a lot of bodybuilders that go undiagnosed, and there's studies on this, they do pass away from heart issues.
Oh, dude, it's terrible for your heart, man.
Yeah.
Like every time you wake up, like you wake up in a panic, like it's like an adrenaline rush kind of thing, like fight or flight, right? Because you can't breathe. And your heart rate like gets right jacked up, and then it calms back down, and then it gets right jacked up again.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you're doing that every night, like night after night after night, and you're a big heavy guy, it's not good for you, man.
Yeah. So what's happening, right? For people that don't understand like why this happens, is because once you get into a deeper sleep, like when you go through stage 1 and stage 2, you're starting to relax more and more. And when you hit stage 3 in sleep, your smooth muscles in your body start to relax. And so your trachea, the smooth muscles in your trachea will just relax. And once they relax enough, they'll just close. And that's what causes your body to have a shock, because once that trachea closes, there's no more oxygen supplying your brain, your heart. So your body has to use your nervous system to jump you awake so that you don't die, so you can get that oxygen back in.
Yeah,
so
it's the worst feeling ever too, man.
Yeah.
It sucks, man.
Yeah, it really does, man. And then the other thing too, right, is like this is how our hearts remodel themselves. You know, if you're going through stages of sleep where you're not able to actually reach deep sleep, your body can't prevent itself from remodeling the heart. And by remodeling, I mean adding tissue to the heart. And that's why our hearts enlarge, because if we don't get a dip in our blood pressure during sleep, our body says, okay, we have to make the walls of our heart thicker to deal with that blood pressure. So when you sleep, about halfway through the night, your blood pressure should dip to its lowest point. And it's because it doesn't do that what causes the damage to your heart. So I think every bodybuilder should get a sleep test. And even if you don't get a sleep test, you should probably use a CPAP anyways, just because it's going to help with recovery so much more, man.
Yeah.
You just have to get over the fact that it's uncomfortable. But once you get used to it, it's like, I don't think you can sleep without it anymore.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I didn't give it a big enough chance. I tried it like twice, and I was like, man, I cannot sleep with this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm to the point where it's like, if I don't have that on my face, I can't fall asleep because I'm so used to having it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I'm like that too. Even just the sound, like the little whistling from it, just some extra white noise.
I was just going to ask you, I wear earplugs when I wear them on.
Oh, I usually wear headphones. I do mouth guard, CPAP, face mask, headphones, and just like.
This is a machine going to bed.
He gets geared up. He puts on his elbow sleeves.
His girl's like,
pillows.
The girl's like, who is this android I'm sleeping next to?
Gotta strap himself down.
Yeah. My belt.
Yeah, I get it, man. I know how it is.
Let's see. We got any other good questions this week?
I got a few questions from a Q&A I did on my Instagram story, just like randomly. I saved them.
Yeah, let's hear
it. I'll try and find a good one or whatever. How about if you gain weight really easy with your normal diet, do cheat meals serve any purpose on a bulk?
No.
No, probably not then.
Right. The only purpose it would serve probably is that you're going to gain fat. If you're already gaining weight easily on the normal diet, it's just going to make you gain fat.
Yeah, exactly. If your weight's going up, you don't need a huge surplus of calories when you're already in a surplus of calories, because then it's going to be too much of a surplus. Your body's not going to utilize all those extra calories to grow muscle. So some of it's going to get stored as body fat.
The only thing I would say is maybe a cheat meal of like, keep it somewhat clean, but have maybe a free meal that you don't have to be exact on diet, but you can go out with your wife or something like, or your girlfriend, just for that mental, like stress relief of being able to have a date night. But I would keep it like maybe a steak and a potato. I wouldn't go out and have pizza or like burgers and fries and like junk. I would keep it cleaner, maybe go out and have like a salmon fillet and some, whatever. Like I keep it cleaner, but
something I get clients to do like that are in a situation like that is I'll actually get them to have a cheat meal instead of 2 meals, and I'll just make 1 meal a shake. Yeah. So like they don't miss out the protein, but then they can utilize the carbs and fats from 2 meals. So like it would be kind of more damage control. And that's like obviously for the purpose that like they're just having the cheat meal for enjoyment. Like
I do have one client that I do that because he does gain weight easier. And I said once a week, swap meals 4 and 5 for a cheat meal.
Yeah, there you go. Less likely to have any damage then from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, he's actually making really good progress. Yeah. You know, he still has lines. You know, he's at the heaviest he's ever been. He still has separation in his quads. He still has some ab definition. Like he's doing good.
Yeah, the cheat meal thing is different for everybody because like you're going to get people that you just replace one meal with a cheat meal, and then you're going to get guys that you get them to eat all 6 meals and then have a cheat meal on top of their 6 meals, like for them to get anything out of it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so it just all depends on the person. It's not going to be generic with that at all.
I was on a podcast last week with Jean-Pierre Fuchs. Oh, you remember him from the 90s, the early 2000s?
That's
he kind of got on to me bad for having cheat meals in the off season.
Really? Eh?
Fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah. He kind of gave me a hard time on it.
That's like Patrick Tour.
Yeah.
Those old school guys, man, they got to chill out.
Well, he was more strict about it because he sees all the mistakes he made and how blown out his gut got in the last few years with him competing. And so he's very strict about like having smaller meals throughout, you know, more meals, making them smaller portions and everything like that, because he's so focused on keeping the stomach in control and stuff like that because of the mistakes he made.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I don't think there's ever a time where you should really eat till you're like totally stuffed. I used to do that a lot, and it's really bad for sure.
Yeah, agreed.
I kind of felt that way last night just because we got done at the gym at like 8:30 or something. It was kind of late, and I got home and I had my post-workout shake and cereal, and Ashley got dinner, and I had literally just finished my cereal, and she puts a plate down of steak and potato and stuff. And I'm like, oh God, this is gonna be bad. And I was like, I was over full for sure. But then I woke up starving, so it's all good.
I can't have any cheat meals, man. I gained 8 pounds this week. Just literally just on like my clean diet.
Wow.
Yeah, me and my coach, like we took my rice meals from 300 to 325, and we took my oats from 100 to 135, and I've just been like, the scale has just been flying up.
That's like nothing. That's crazy.
Your appetite's still good too?
No, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Starting to hit that point.
Mine is so bad.
I'm not even bothering with cheat meals because like I just don't even want to eat anything. So
that's how I am, man. Like, yeah. Nothing at all sounds appealing. Like nothing.
No, literally. My girlfriend the other night was like we were talking about like maybe getting pizza and then maybe getting some like chicken burgers from Mary Brown's, and like I was just like, honestly, like I don't want to eat anything, but if I eat that, it's just gonna make me feel shitty. So I might as well just eat my clean food.
My wife,
that's a good point, right?
Because I didn't want to get junk the other night, and I'm like, she's like, what's for dinner? Even last night on the way home, she's like, what's for dinner tonight? I was like, I mean, I'm probably gonna go home and have like some eggs and you know this, and then she's like, but like, don't you want to get a burger or like go out there here and get this or that? I'm like, not really. I'm like, I've had 6 meals today. I'm like, I just want, you know, if you're gonna leave it up to me, it's gonna be clean, healthy food when we get home. I was like, but she ended up like talking me into getting a steak and potato, but still, it's just a steak and potato. It wasn't like,
exactly.
But it wasn't. I didn't cook it. She went and got it from Outback. But
I'm supposed to have a cheat meal every week, but I don't even think I'm going to even bother with it anymore. Like, kind of if I want to have something, I'll have like a cup of Greek yogurt or something like at the end of the day. You know, just
that's how I am.
Something light.
That's all I can get down sometimes at the end of the night. Like I'm so full from all my meals. I'm like, you know, I can always I started keeping Greek yogurt in the fridge just because there were certain nights where I was struggling to get my last meal down. And I'm like, I have to at least get the protein and then something down. So I'm like, Greek yogurt's easy to put down even when you don't want to eat any food.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more of like a dessert guy, so like I kind of figure out about myself anyway. Like a lot of times I'll just eat the burgers and shit to like get to like the cookies. so now I just eat like 1 or 2 cookies every day. I'm good.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I did that yesterday. Actually, I was one of my pre-workout meal was ground beef and rice, and I was like, ground beef, rice, and a cookie.
Yeah, man. That's what the off season's for. It doesn't got to be crazy.
Yeah.
That's it, right? Because if you're already starting to lose your appetite a little bit and you just start throwing in cheat meals, I'm not hungry, I'm just gonna have this. It just makes it worse, man. It just compounds. Like your appetite will go to shit, your digestion will go to shit. You start feeling like shit, and I made this mistake before. Then you just start eating cheat meals just because that's the only thing you actually want to eat at that point. Then you just turn into a fat slob. So,
and that's why, kind of like what Mo was saying was like, I feel better if I just add some little sweet treat at the end of my normal clean meal, rather than having a big cheat meal of, it's going to sit heavy on your stomach. If you add one cookie at the end of your chicken and rice, it's like, I'm still good for my next meal. It digests easy, but I got that little sweet treat out, It's like, instead of doing a big cheat meal that's going to sit heavy on my stomach, mess up my digestion, if I add like, my thing lately has been chicken rice and then a honey bun.
Oh, nice.
Honey bun.
Throw a honey bun.
Those are serious, man. That's not a cookie.
That's a solid 400 or 500 calories right there.
Yeah. It's like a lot.
So that's what I've been doing lately, man. I was like, I'm just doing like my normal clean meal and then throwing a honey bun, and that way, like you said, it's like nothing sounds good. Okay, but I can get through this chicken and rice and then enjoy my honey bun.
Yeah, you get a little reward. That's all.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
You doing cheat meals, Jordan?
I get a week. I usually just use it I'm not really craving anything, but it's usually just for like doing things with people or, whatever. Like, it's just like trying to like keep that balance, keep your sanity of like, I'm going to be in off season for a while because obviously I'm not competing until 2023. So like, I just use those meals, with like community, going out with friends or, going out with my wife or whatever, just to basically break up the monotony and kind of have that balance of like feeling like that you're not having to be so strict all the time. It's good for the mental state, I think. That, or either like if I'm really like craving something, I might throw in like, for me, it's like extra like cereal or something. It's nothing that's like usually like major. So when it comes to like throwing in extras.
I think most of us just enjoy something different every now and
then. Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
I enjoy like the whole like going out and like going to a restaurant and like, having a meal with your girl and like just enjoying that time together. It's not nearly as fun when you just like order in. Like I almost would rather not do it at all at that point. And it's been so shitty because here it's like restaurants are literally been closed for like a year, and then the off season is going to be over and it's going to be pre-contest again. Then we're not going to do that stuff anyways. It's like,
hey, are the restaurants going to be open February 1st?
Actually, they are. Yeah, yeah. They're opening. They're opening at the end of the month. So
we're in good shape.
Hey, and last time you were here, we got sushi. The restaurants were opened, and they closed them again after you left, and they're going to open them again before you come.
I will definitely go to that sushi place again.
Ontario's just banking it all on Big Mo coming.
Robin, do you know when you're going to start prep?
Soon.
Soon?
I'm getting leaner now.
Yeah.
Increase my cardio a little bit and reduce the food a little bit. So, yeah.
So I'm just going to be on when we train together.
Yeah.
Sick.
I was gonna eat a kai cookie the other day and I didn't. So
proud of myself. Getting serious.
Yeah.
I got a question.
Yep.
So like, how do you guys decide with your coach, like whether you're going to start, do you have it in your mind, like, okay, I'm going to do a 16-week prep or I'm going to do a 12-week prep? Or do you just like, hey, I sent pictures, when do you think we should start prep? And then wait for your coach to tell you, think, hey, we need 16 weeks or we need 18 weeks or we need, 20 weeks if you're really bad or whatever it is. Like, what do you guys do as far as gauging that?
I always used to do 16-week preps, but now I kind of I don't even know. I start getting ready. I think it's like 26 weeks from now until I get on stage. I'm starting now so I can have a smoother prep, I guess, like, I don't know if it's an ideal mindset to go from like, all out off season to all out contest prep. Like, it should be like a scale that kind of slides up and down as your season progresses, right? Like, realistically, as a pro, your season starts as soon as you walk off stage, right? So, but but are you talking about like just cycle wise, or like
No,
just the cutting period?
You had in your mind, I always do 16-week prep. So if that's what you always do, like, let's say you were going to start with a new coach, you're going to tell them like, I always do 16-week prep, so that's what we're going to do? Or do you just say, hey, what do you think we should do? And then let your coach say, I think you need 18 weeks, or I think you only need 12, or only 14, you're ahead of the game, or whatever. I mean, like, how do you guys gauge that? I'm just curious to hear what y'all's opinions are.
Well, I know if I had a new client come to me, I would always prefer to have longer than shorter, you know, because you don't know how you can always scale things back if they're progressing too fast. But if they're progressing slower than you expected, you don't want to just start doing a crash diet on them. They're not going to be their best.
Yeah.
So I'd much rather have too long than not enough time. So if I had a new client come to me, I'd be like, dude, I'd love you to give me at least 20 weeks. You know, and if you're ready early, we can look at doing an earlier show. But me personally, I don't know. I've done 20-week diets. I've done 16-week diets. I've done 3-week diets. But I mean, I think I probably look at just what shape I'm in. Like, I think this year I could probably be ready in 12 weeks, but I'm gonna give it 16. And like I said, because I know if I'm ready early, we can scale things back, and the last few weeks aren't going to be pure hell.
Yeah. So you're going to tell, and the question was like, so you're going to tell, hey, Aceto, we're going to start at 16 weeks out. Like, do you tell?
I asked his opinion. Like, I sent him check-ins a few weeks ago, and I told him my plan, and I asked him if he thought it was a good idea. And he said, hell yeah, you're going to be huge.
Yeah, I find I need like a 3 or 4 week like transition period going into prep.
Yeah,
it's like I'll start like 20 weeks out or so, and then like just kind of get my shit together. But like, because I find like once I'm locked into prep mode, I'm like, okay, all my meals are perfect, like eating the same thing at the same time every day, my training, getting a good rhythm with my training. Like, but I need a bit of time to do that. Like, I find, but like,
I love that transition, just like snapping into prep mode though. Like, I'm the opposite. Like, I want to just completely snap into it and be like, all right, we're 100% now. There's no more bullshit. Like, no more. All right, I felt like swapping this for that. I'm like, I have structure now, and I love that. Like, whenever I start getting into having structure with my coach, checking in like multiple times a week and doing exactly what he tells me, then my mind doesn't wander towards wanting other stuff, you know?
Yeah, like if for me it just happens. Like I'll just I'll get into prep mode. Like I'll have my diet at that point, right? But it's just like, I don't know. I just have to do it for like 2 or 3 weeks before like I'm just like super locked in with it, and like just can kind of let go of like picking at stuff and like having like snacks and stuff like that, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
But maybe that will change as I like continue on, you know.
I've never been like a snack guy anyways, so that part isn't really like a big deal. But in terms of like I guess ramping things up, so to say, I always give myself 16 weeks for that part. But last prep, you know, I prepped in 14 weeks because I started 16 weeks out, and then I hurt my back, and then I was on the couch for like 10, I think it was like 7 or 10 days. And then it was like 14 weeks out where I was like, okay, I'm 100% again. I can go from here. So yeah. And that was just because I was traveling to BC and stuff and whatever. But I do think having that transition period is important. So really you're starting your preparation phase, I guess, if you want to call it that, at like 20 weeks out, because you're really dialing in your mindset at that point. You're changing your mindset from I have to get as big as possible to now I have to get as shredded as possible. And I think it takes a few weeks for your brain to click that, and for your ego to get rid of that, like, I got to focus on being big, because you can't do the two things at once. You can't focus on being big trying to come into a show, because you just won't be conditioned enough. So you have to give yourself a couple of weeks to like just flip that switch, I think.
Yeah, the worst mental thing is whenever you're like, you make that transition in those first few weeks, you're still fluffy off-season look, but you lose the fullness.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, you're not full and big, but you're not shredded yet. And it's just like, that's the worst period ever. So those first
Fat and
few
flat.
weeks. Yeah, exactly. That sucks right there.
There's a company that actually I think of it. I don't actually have any of their stuff, but like there's a company that makes their stuff. It's like kind of fit, kind of fat. That's all I think about when I'm like, all right.
That's funny.
About it.
Do you guys find that that you really start to enjoy it the most around that 8-week out mark, where you're now you've gotten to a certain leanness, but you're also like you're full blast on everything.
You're still strong.
You're strong. You feel awesome. Your mind is dialed in. Like everything just firing on all cylinders. I always look forward to that part, like the 8-week out part. Where you're just like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I'm good like 6 to 8 weeks out, and then after 6 weeks out and beyond that, I'm just like cannot wait for it to be over.
Yeah.
See, I'm those last, I don't know, two and 3 weeks out are my hardest usually, but up until 3 weeks out, I might have a bad day here and there, but that's where I'm loving it the most because you look nasty in the gym, and I might not have as much endurance because I'm so depleted, but I'm like my strength is usually still there. Usually about that 3 week out mark is where it starts going a little downhill.
That's like when you're in the gym.
Last year I hit a PR on deadlifts at 3 weeks out.
Jesus.
I was like, and it wasn't like a weight PR, but it was like I did like 5 plates aside for 14 reps at 3 weeks out. And I wasn't expecting to. I thought I was like, oh, I might get like 9 or 10 with this. And then it just hit and I just kept going. I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah, I think that happens sometimes in prep because like your mindset is so like you're just so determined.
Yeah.
Like especially as the closer you get to the show, like the training tends to like get turned up a notch, right?
I did 5 plates aside for 6 reps on Friday and it destroyed me.
Yeah. Well,
I think you get to that point in prep where you're just you've let go of the food being your source of fuel. You're like, okay, I don't even have enough food to get me through this workout. It all has to come from within me. And I think that almost gives you like another boost of strength, right?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's
like adrenaline more, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's a good feeling. Yeah. Cool.
I'm in the gym in prep. For me, it's almost like that's the one time that I'm not thinking about food. Because like if you're like really hungry, it's like in the gym, you don't even notice it. Like, but as soon as you walk out of the gym, you're like, oh my God, I'm starving for my next meal. Like as soon as you open the gym doors and walk out, all hell breaks loose in your stomach. I don't know why, but it's like while I'm training, I'm good. Doesn't matter.
Even the like as the workout winds down on those last couple like sets, you're like, oh shit, I actually am really hungry.
I usually don't get hungry until I sit down and relax first, and then it just kicks in right away.
Oh man, I'm always hungry. So.
Do you guys have any pre-workout rituals or post-workout rituals that you do every time before you train or after you train?
Pooping.
Nothing?
I
just eat and go train?
I eat pre-workout, I eat post-workout.
Yeah. A pre-workout poop.
Yeah. Now, my shit's random, man, because like sometimes I'll take like stim pre-workout, sometimes I won't, sometimes I'll take non-stim. Like sometimes I'll be listening to metal on the way to the gym, sometimes I'm listening to a podcast. Like there's just like all depends on how I feel. Like I'm definitely not one of those people that like everything needs to be the same. So I have a good workout. Like it just doesn't really make a difference because when I get into the gym, I just do what I have to do anyway.
I like having my gym jams on the way to the gym.
Fair enough.
I'm kind of like that too, Morgan, where I just whatever mood I'm in, I just roll with it on my way there. But then once I get into the gym, it gets a little bit more specific. Like I have to go to the turf and like do my warm up and do my drills. Like I do the same ones because they get my mind in it. And then I do a couple more after those initial ones, more specific to the workout. And then it just feeds into the workout. But I once or twice I was like late to the gym And I was like training with Big Mike and I didn't do it. And I was like, the whole workout, I was just scared. I'm like, oh, fuck, something's going to snap or something's going to happen. So that is like one of the rituals that I have to do is that 15 to 20 minute mobility warm up. And then post workout, I have to sit down for 10 minutes and breathe. Like I have to do it, or I just, my system doesn't feel right. It's weird, but.
I like to obviously, eat pre-workout, but I try to eat it like in a decent amount of time to where I can like take my pre-workout, like probably like at least 8 to 10 minutes for like leaving my house. So like while I'm driving, it's kicking in, and then it's like the hype zone.
Yeah. So you can do that in Florida. Here in Canada, you don't know. You might get halfway to the gym, sipping on your pre, and you got to turn back and go home.
Yeah. So true. It happens.
What about morning routines? What do you guys do like first thing in the morning? Like
so you should check out my YouTube channel and watch my morning routine video. No.
Oh, you have one?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, I'll actually watch it.
No, so I mean, basically my morning routine. In the video I show like the drink I make every morning with my greens, my glutamine, my reds, my aminos, and all the stuff I mix in there. And then basically, if I'm at the gym that morning because I train a client, then I'll do 20 minutes, usually on the incline treadmill. I'll do 3 to 4 rounds of like a circuit of calf raises, hanging leg lifts, and cable crunches. And then I'll come home and make breakfast.
Yeah, I think I did see that video. You're training someone.
But then if I'm at home, that's when I actually get a little bit of stretching in too. Like I always forget. I don't mean to forget, but I forget to do my stretching when I'm at the gym in the morning. So when I'm at home, I actually throw like a little stretching routine in there as well. And it's very basic. It's pathetic. But on my rest days, I'll try and actually look up like a YouTube video on like yoga or like a stretching routine. And I'll try and my best to get through that. But my stretching is pathetic. It's sad.
I don't do a lot of stretching, but in the morning I just wake up and I do the same thing. Like I have the green shake with the aminos and all that kind of good stuff. Take my supplements, pills, whatever. Then I go, when it's open, I go down to the cardio room downstairs, do the cardio. Then I'll usually sit for 10 minutes, breathe, and then I'll come back up and make breakfast. But I like having that cardio in the morning. Like I just, when I had COVID and then when they closed the gym like that week, it just threw everything off, man. I did not feel good.
Cardio this morning sucked though, since it was 30 degrees out and all my cardio equipment's in my garage. It was just freaking cold, dude. I didn't want to. I had to force myself to go out there.
You should see what I walked in this morning, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah, y'all are up there. I probably shouldn't complain about it being
winter
cold.
Jacket, had my dogs out in the snow for 40 minutes, and then had to come back and clean them off. And that was at 7 o'clock this morning.
Okay, we don't have as thick a skin as you do.
No, listen, bro. I don't have thick skin. I hate the fucking winter. I complain about it all day long. That's why I keep bringing it up. So I just have to deal with it. That's all.
Yeah. Like bitching about it doesn't do much, so you just have to suck it up and deal with it.
Until I move, yeah. I'm gonna be down.
Or move to Florida. Yeah, that's the goal.
I mean, look, this is like the first time you've seen me on here with sleeves.
True.
It was freaking cold out there, and I had a hoodie on.
True. My girlfriend has the heat on blast all the time in my house, so that's why I have a tank top.
Oh, we don't turn the heat on.
I'm just constantly sweating.
No, heat doesn't go on ever.
No, my wife can have 3 blankets on her.
You guys
we don't need to turn the heat on.
Jordan, are you wearing what company is that you're wearing? What's that Beast company? Is that a supplement company?
No, this is a cheap tank top.
Oh, okay. Do you have a sponsor, Jordan? I don't know.
Yeah, with Metabolic Nutrition right now.
Okay. I was gonna say if you were wearing their shirt, then we would all be wearing our sponsor shirt today.
No, I didn't have any. I only have like 1 tank top from them right now. Like I just got started with them, and this past week, but I got like a couple T-shirts, and then they sent me like my order of like a bunch of different supplements to try and all kinds of stuff. But I just started with them right after Nationals, so.
Sweet.
I'm not wearing my sponsor shirt, by the way, either.
I thought you were old school labs.
No, I'm IRONFIT. This isn't Old School Labs. This is Old School Bodybuilding Clothing Company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they make awesome clothes and stuff. And like, I know the owners, they send me a lot of their shirts and stuff like that.
I thought you were with them before though, for sure, right?
I was with them early 2019, maybe late 2018.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that. And then you were working with Fusion for a little while, remember?
Yeah, and then the owner of Fusion got kicked out of his own company, and he was the one I always dealt with. So yeah, I was like, I don't know where this is going. I'm going to get out while I can. I mean, I know nothing against them. I liked their products. They were fine. I wish they had more options though. They didn't have that many products. It was pretty basic. True. But but IRONFIT's awesome. I love them and the products they make. They have a good array of, everything, the greens, the organic reds. They have, not just your basic pre-workout protein. They have all of that too, but then they have, all your glutamine and your they have everything all the way to like apple cider vinegar gummies.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing's worse than you have a sponsor and you have to go and like spend all this money on other companies' products anyway because they don't carry like everything you need. It's like, what's even?
Yeah, they're coming out with a health line too, so I'm excited if they keep expanding that because I buy a lot of stuff from like Revive.
Yeah.
Because like they'll. So I would be. It'd be awesome if they would come out with some competitive stuff for that because I spend a lot of money on like my health stuff from Revive. Liver support, kidney support. All
that stuff is so expensive.
Yeah. But it works. I've gotten my blood work done before taking it and after taking it, and I know it works. My doctor even told me, he's like, hey, did you do something different this time? I was like, well, I ran out of this and they haven't had it back in stock. He's like, you need to get back on it. It was working.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Revive as well. I meant to say that. So I'm with Revive and Metabolic Nutrition.
Nice. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to work with HDs because they had those health supplements.
Yeah.
And like in Canada, they're pretty hard to get, right? Like we have to order from the States usually to get health supplements. Before HD had their health line, it was just Revive. And so it was like we're paying extra because we're using Canadian dollars and we're paying extra because of the shipping as well. And also sometimes when you get shipments from the US, randomly they'll just like slap on an extra fee sometimes.
Easy.
And they're just a pain sometimes going through customs with like supplements and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I know when Fusion would send me stuff, like sometimes the first package they sent me got stopped at customs and it took like 4 weeks to get down here.
Yeah.
So they sent me another package and it got here within like a week, but then the other package showed up like 3 weeks later, finally got released.
I know it's so weird. Well, just because of all the crap and like, I guess the lack of employees or whatever, like when we're trying to get stuff sent here, they're getting stuck in like another city for like weeks, just for no reason, really. Just, I guess they're understaffed and they just getting overwhelmed there. But yeah, it sucks. Sucks when you run out of subs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take the hint. We'll call it there, guys. Morgan, you got to go anyways, right?
Yeah.
Oh wait, we didn't ask Morgan about the lobster.
Yeah.
Oh right, yeah. Okay, go for it.
If you ordered a surf and turf dinner and you ordered steak and lobster, which one do you eat first?
Steak and lobster.
Yeah. If you ordered a surf and turf dinner, you get steak and lobster. Which one do you eat first?
Oh, the steak.
Yeah, nice.
Steak's warm.
Everyone was arguing.
It's a trick question. You eat the free bread first.
Free bread's going down regardless.
No, it came about because me and Jordan were filming my back workout on Sunday, and like my wife made fun of me for calling it like, all right, next we're gonna get to the meat and potatoes of the workout. And she's like, you always say that. And so I was like, all right, well, this one's actually going to be surf and turf because we got 2 entrees because we're going to hit a heavy T-bar row and then a heavy chest supported row. We got 2 entrees today. And then when we got done with the T-bar rows, I was like, all right, we got our steak down. Now it's time for the lobster. And everyone like stopped me and they're like, no, you would always eat the lobster first. What are you talking about?
No way, man. Because the steak's going to be cold by the time we get through the lobster.
Exactly.
And then Robin made a really good point when we brought it up on here last week. He's like, yeah, but the T-bar rows are a much tougher exercise. So I feel like, the steak's a tougher chew, and then.
Yeah,
exactly. You gotta put in that work to get the reward. The reward is a lobster,
Fact.
But we talked to Cameron, who's Jason's friend, and he works at like a really fancy restaurant that like food and stuff. And he said that you automatically eat the lobster first. Like that's proper etiquette. Like the proper way is like the lobster comes out on top or to the side, but you eat the lobster first.
Yeah, well,
he never claimed to have proper etiquette.
I actually just like to throw my whole plate on the floor and then just eat it on the floor when I go to a fancy restaurant. No.
I feel that.
With a
flame your glass, another.
Okay, so anybody who's still listening, if you guys want to get us some questions in for us for next episode, you can drop them in the comments below, and we'll answer them on the next episode. We'll also have to throw up another Q&A thing on Instagram. So anything else, or that's it?
Yeah,
there we go. All right, boys, have a good week.
See you guys.
And we'll catch up next week.
all right.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Canadian Beef Podcast. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel and check us out on Spotify. You can use our code on HELIXOnline.com. The code is BEEF20. That's BEEF20 at checkout. You're going to save yourself 20% off. And you're going to help our podcast grow. Thank you so much, guys. See you in the next episode.